had to react to this. Now, last time y'all ran up my other video, Sandy Creek schedule release, man. So let's do Milton Eagle. Let's talk about some of these teams they're going to play next year. Now, first off, I think they did elite by just the scrimmages alone. You're going up against a Walton team that will be, I think, even more improved this year going instead of last year, even though a team that upset at number one McEachern at the time and, was able to go on the road and beat them, beat East Coweta, and got all the way to the quarterfinals in a roster that was real young. So that's going to obviously be their spring game, May 15th. So that'll be obviously very fun and interesting to watch. Then they're going to play Grayson. Now, this one kind of came out of the blue. Both teams were talking on Twitter, essentially. I think Coach Reeves had sent something out, how they were still looking for games. And then obviously Grayson comes up and says, yo, eyeballs, basically, hey, looking for a game. And they ended up scheduling that. So that's going to be a lot of fun seeing Grayson. And obviously those two teams play. New regime for Grayson, new era under head coach Greg Carswell. That's going to be a lot of fun to see that. Obviously August 6th. Between those two teams to see the scrimmage and see kind of how they both look heading into the season 2 weeks later. Then I love this. If you've ever followed the Milton program, the big rivalry, obviously we know about Roswell, and we'll talk about that here later, but another big rivalry that's non-region is North Cobb, right? Those two teams have played for years, even got featured on an ESPN game a few years ago as well. Like, that game, y'all, it always delivers, no matter what. So we'll see if it gets on TV or not, but nonetheless, man, you want to get your popcorn ready, you want to get ready for a damn good game, them in North Cobb. We'll see what happens with Teddy Gerard obviously leaving North Cobb. They still got Zachary Bellew, some pretty good receivers, good defense as always. We'll see how the team's going to look and who the new quarterback is going to be. But that rivalry is always pretty good between those two non-region opponents. Then you obviously have, Roswell Alpharetta battle, them playing up against obviously BT and Blessed Trinity. We know how good their defensive line is for BT. Dawson Jacobs, DJ Jacobs, who's the number one player in the state of Georgia, committed to Ohio State. That'll be another outstanding matchup between two really good teams. Different, obviously, Blessed Trinity team, we've seen them from years past, but still a very good team, obviously, overall. But we'll see how they look. It's going to be different. No Monte Pitts, right? They got a new quarterback at the helm, I'm pretty sure. They'll look vastly different, but should still be a very good team. Now, next up, you got the Cambridge Bears. They're going to be an interesting team to follow. I don't know how good they're going to be this year, y'all. They lose a lot from the senior class, right? They lose Craig Dandridge, right? They lose their quarterback, Connor Langford. Another guy, Marcus Turk, still there, who transferred over from, obviously, Alpharetta. They're going to have a new-look team, but what you can say, they're going to always have good firepower, always have a good offense under, obviously, their head coach, Tyler Jones, who's former, Walton offensive coordinator, now the head coach, and he loves to run the offense. So that's going to be an intriguing game between those two. Should be interesting who comes out on top in that one. And then Milton's going to play against Battleground Academy. Now, that's a pretty good team out of Tennessee. They went 13-1 this past year, and they had an outstanding offense. The quarterback had threw for 57 touchdowns. Now, look, he graduates, they move on, but they got this freshman receiver that's off the chain. Now, that freshman receiver I'm talking about is Maddox Porter. He went off, y'all, this past season, 78 catches, 1,547 yards, and 27 touchdowns. Dude is an absolute stud and going to be probably one of the top-ranked guys when it comes to 2029 class. Milton's going to have an answer for him for sure. Then you play Johns Creek. They've been a revolving door, essentially, y'all, at the head coach position. They've been getting guys in and out. Hasn't really been the same, in quite a while for Johns Creek. We know they have the money, but just not getting the talent, not getting the right coaching to come coach them. And obviously will be region play. Then you play against Lanier. Lanier is always pretty solid under head coach Tyler Maloof, can run the ball really well. We know about Tawan Payne Jr., who came through that program. They always have a pretty solid team, man. So they'll be one to look at. Can't never overlook them. Then Alpharetta's look different, but we know they got Jackson Holly, so they can rush the passer. That's a rivalry as well between two Alpharetta teams. Usually Milton is the victor and has the better team between the two. Then it's Gainesville. Gainesville's already said they want that get back. We've already seen, obviously, with Milton wanting to kind of the same thing. So it's a brewing rivalry, man, between the Milton Eagles and the Gainesville Red Elephants. New regime, a familiar face for head coach Ben Reason, goes against Centavius Bryant, but they got to go to Gainesville in that game. Don't be surprised if that one's on TV on October 23rd. Two really elite opponents. That'll be obviously one to get your popcorn ready for. Riverwood's been a while since they've been obviously at the top. A team has been struggling in the new era, man. We'll see. But this should be a winnable game to me for Milton. And last but not least, man, you're going to have them going against Roswell. Roswell got a bunch of dogs on their team, man. Shaw Smith, Nick Daniels, Pearson DeGala. They're absolutely loaded, man. So that's going to be a primetime game. I think last year, it was featured on TV. I'll be surprised if it's not featured on TV again this year. But that game always gives you kind of that feel. And I've been to a couple of those games when Milton went against Roswell. And each time, y'all, never disappointed me, man. Always was a back and forth contest. Always was two elite teams going at it. And you never know, man. Those kind of games always come down to the end. old school rivalry between two elite programs. So there y'all have it, man. That's my thoughts, man. Milton official schedule release for the 2026 season. I said they did pretty good, man. Two really good scrimmages, a really good opening season game against obviously North Cobb. Then they'll play BT. Then they're gonna play Battleground, who's a really good team from Tennessee, and then obviously their region schedule. But solid schedule for the Milton Eagles.